Christmas. I hope you're watching Batman. This one's for you.
Control initiated. Parade override engaged.
What the hell was that? Hey kids, Santa Flash is back.
Bruce, you didn't get him a gift certificate.
No. Cash.
Yeah, can I help you?
Yes. We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
Jill, there's just no way to explain the devastation right now, as the Life Day Parade turned Christmas Parade turned massacre unfolds before us. Both Life Day and Christmas have been ruined forever by...
Data. Hologram. Now.
Fuck.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dance Discussions. And oh boy, this is going to be a really great episode today. There is lots to discuss. A big thing happened for the Cell movement, and we got to talk about it. And then some resistance is happening, and we will talk about that too. But no matter what, in my opinion, Netflix is beautiful at Christmas. So please welcome, as I bring on today's guest, ZodWriter. How are you, man?
Man, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of each other lately, Bat Dan. But this is a good time to be together and to be talking about stuff like this, for sure.
Absolutely, 100%. But before we start, I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't let ZodWriter make a very important announcement today, guys.
Yeah, the One Punch Man movie is completed. It is done. People have the ability. It has a release date, and you have the ability to watch it. If you reach out to me, if you want to see the movie, and you reach out to me, I am willing to do online screenings. I've actually done a few online screenings already, and people seem to be liking what they're seeing, and I'm really excited. It's been a long journey. It's been taking a long time to get this movie done, and the best thing about One Punch Man is it's not the end, it's only the beginning. So I'm really excited and happy for everybody to finally get a chance to see this movie. It's no longer just a joke. It's no longer just a dream. It's no longer just a throwaway line about Bat Dan punching old ladies in the face. It is an actual movie, and it is done. So I'm excited.
I can't wait, but ZodWriter, I do have to tell you one thing. I am not interested in doing any online screening of One Punch Man myself.
Oh, I know. You're going to physically come over and watch it with me. I know. I already know that you and I are going to do that, and we'll definitely do that prior to the release in March. So we have plenty of time to get together and watch the movie. See, that's the thing. That was another reason. It's like, because somebody asked me back then, somebody was like, well, why is it all the way, if we're that close to having it done, or it's done now, why did you wait? Why wait till March? I'm like, well, it gives it some time. It gives it some separation after the holidays. It gives me some time to unwind. It gives me some time to, ease into things. And all movies have release dates. This is just a release date that's actually going to come to fruition, because the original release date was going to be July 11th, and it didn't, of this year, and that didn't pan out for several reasons. But as we sit here now, we have a release date. The movie is done and ready to go. I have saved the movie to 3 hard drives, and the movie is in the cloud as well. So the movie is not going anywhere. The movie is safe and sound and is ready for that official live stream we're going to do on March the 14th, in which we will talk about the movie and we will show it to everybody. It's going to be a fantastic stream for sure on March the 14th.
Mr. Movie Mike, and I cannot wait, and I will make sure to have some pie that day too, since that will be pie day.
Yeah. So that'll be good. And so it's going to be interesting. And Bat Dan will have seen, or One Punch Dan will have seen the One Punch Dan movie prior to the March 14th online release date. Yeah, everybody's going to get to see it. I'm excited for everybody to see it. And then in the meantime, I'll be looking into trying to find the right company to partner with to get the Blu-ray steelbooks produced, because that's something that I need. This movie needs to have a physical release. So
100%. So guys, be on the lookout for, reach out to Zod, see this movie. It will be a great movie. And what up, SynHavok? Oh, SynHavok's about to make fun of me when I go over this next topic, knowing SynHavok, but
okay.
One Punch Dan I'm excited for. And now I have a little story to tell you guys. So I got a new wallet. On Monday, I was doing my laundry. I threw everything in the laundry real quickly. But then, one thing I realized, I left my wallet in one of the pants I was washing. So, my cards were fine, my license was fine, the cash was fine. Some junk that I didn't really need got destroyed, but overall, the main thing that got damaged was the wallet itself. And I got a new wallet, and it came in, and I had to show this off. Batman. So, I'm Bat-Dan. Had to show this off, so... Moral of the story, though, guys, be careful when you do your laundry. Check those pockets. Okay, Zod. Episode 3 of One Punch Man, you heard it. One Punch Man has to lose his wallet.
That would be interesting. I actually wouldn't mind having that be like one of the post-credit scenes on the second movie. That'd be pretty funny.
No socks, no. Bad socks, bad socks. But yeah, I just wanted to show that off real quick. So now, Zack Snyder movie post. So we're just going to go over some of Zack Snyder's movie posts real quickly. Make sure this is, I have 2 Instagram pages up. So, I think I kind of glossed over this on the last stream, but here is another last photograph photo. Oh, Zack Snyder with Jim Lee, which is always nice to see. Another shot of Zack Snyder in Iceland. And then showing Anthony Hopkins, our Jimmy. And then here is Stuart Martin in the rainforest outside. Okay. I know SynHavok. I know Bat-Dan pronunciation. But just wanted to show off some of these awesome photos real quick. And nice to Curly Ray. But now, here's what I really want to get into. Zack Snyder posted about Wonder Woman. So here's the photo. So for those of you who don't know, Zack Snyder had a different photo for BVS. It was always, from my understanding, intended as a stand-in photo for filming before they put the movie from the photo in. But here it is, Wonder Woman 1854 with... I don't know if you can see the heads. I don't think I can really see the heads in this photo, but here he is showing his original photo of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Like, what do you think about that, Zod? Just seeing Zack Snyder post about Wonder Woman.
Well, that tells you that he's not going to have a problem having Wonder Woman in return to her role when he eventually finishes his movies.
Nope, absolutely. That he will not. But I want to show something else right now, though, because not only did Zack Snyder post about Gal Gadot also posted about Wonder Woman specifically. Gal Gadot posted about Wonder Woman, and I can't show this because WarnerBros will copyright strike me, and I don't want to deal with that, but basically, Gal Gadot posts, 12 years ago today, I was cast as Wonder Woman. What a wild, life-changing ride with a character I love so much. I thought it would be fun to share my camera test with Ben. I watched it last night for the first time. Zack Snyder, thank you for sharing this with me and for casting me as Diana Prince. And Zod, did you see this camera test?
Yes.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really was kind of invested in that story too. I mean, obviously, it's a non-canon test screen, but I was really interested to see like what was the backstory. We know like Ben Affleck pissed off, or Bruce Wayne pissed off Wonder Woman, and now he's trying to reconcile for. But it was just really cool seeing Gal Gadot embracing her role as Wonder Woman too. Oh yeah, nope, that he will not. But keep in mind, guys, these Zack Snyder posts I'm showing is going to come into play in a later topic, so keep this in mind. But I don't know, it's really cool seeing that, because I think, from my understanding, I think part of Gal's casting was a chemistry test with Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So, April deadline on schedule. Yep, SynHavok, I know. Or, well, sorry, I know you're not SynHavok, but that's what SynHavok's saying constantly. But here's one that really... Oh, hey, hold on. I accidentally got the time version of that, and let me change that. So... But basically, Zack Snyder posts about Superman. So another Superman photo, but there's something really interesting about this one. Today marks a little milestone on this wild Instagram journey. 500K followers in just over 2 months. I just want a heartfelt thank you to everyone who joined along the way for me. For these characters are kind of modern mythology, and I put a ton of reverence and respect into bringing them to life. Seeing that resonate with so many of you means the world to me. Here's to many stories together. I guess, what's your thoughts on this post?
That is Zack telling you that he's coming back and doing more. He just said, here's to many stories together. And he's saying it on a brand new Superman image that he's posting.
And, there's something else about the image, too, that I want to point out. So I want to go over the likes, because this is actually really interesting. So, Ray Porter, of course. But do you know who this guy is, ZodWriter?
No.
He's famous for other reasons. I'm not gonna lie, but this is the reason why I'm bringing him up here. That is Amy Adams' husband.
Okay.
So, Darren Lelgallo, he is now liking this post. So, Amy Adams' husband is liking a post about Henry Cavill's Superman.
And look at that. He's followed by Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill.
Yep. That he is. Because that's another thing. That's another important piece of this conversation. Because, it's not just Zack Snyder wanting to come back. It's also the cast's willingness to come back, too. And yes, this wasn't Amy Adams herself who liked the post, but I'm pretty sure her husband wouldn't be liking a post like that if Amy Adams did not want to return as Lois Lane.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, I think it's a done deal. I think Zack has pretty much made it very, very clear. So I'm not worried about any of it. I think this post spoke volumes. I really do. And I'm glad he did, because that's a great shot of Superman on top of it.
Thank you, Alan Belk. Thank you. And absolutely, that it is, Zod. And let me just do something real quick. And yeah. So, again, just these posts, though, keep in mind with these posts, because this is going to come into play in one of the last parts of this conversation. But now, here it is. Netflix bought Warner Brothers, the Christmas miracle we needed. So Netflix made an offer and Warner Brothers accepted. So let me just pull up the article real quick. And yes, guys, yes, we are going to talk about the elephant in the room. I know what a lot of people are thinking right now. We will get to that. Don't worry. But right now, I kind of want to focus on, the pre-Monday part of this conversation. So here it is. Netflix wins the Warner Brothers Discovery bidding war with $82.7 billion. And then exclusive deal talk. So Warner Brothers Discovery has selected Netflix after the streaming giant offered $27.75 a share for the studio and streaming assets, a mix of cash and stock worth $82.7 billion. The streamer announced on Friday, Netflix disclosed that it would have to pay a breakup fee of $5 billion if walked away, while it would get $2.8 billion if WBD backs out. And then, yes, over rival Paramount, which, yep, Paramount we'll talk about. But Zod, when you saw this news, what was your thoughts?
I mean, I was excited. I'm very excited still, but you know, it's business is business, and you know, this was just great to see. I really don't understand the whole reason why people think that it's such a bad thing. To me, Netflix has come a long way since they started off as a little DVD by mail service, and they're pretty neat. And this is big for the Cell movement. This is big for us. This is big for all. And actually, this is not just big for the Cell movement. This is big just in general if you're a Zack Snyder fan. I mean, you got to be excited for this. And I think this is going to be good for cinema in general, because I think that Netflix has a lot of great things that they want to do. And I don't know, man, I'm really excited. I know that it seemed dreamlike at first, you know, but now I've accepted it, and I'm very happy. And I think it's great. I think it's a great thing. It is the Christmas miracle we needed.
Absolutely. Because, you know, it's funny, Zod, because when Gunny Poo announced this reboot and Henry Cavill said that he was stepping down as he wasn't stepping down, he was no longer going to be Superman, that also happened during Christmas time. So it feels very fitting to me that this deal here is happening during Christmas time.
And then you got Zack posted the picture of Henry, like, you know, saying what he said, and yeah, it's a win-win.
And I want to show, and normally I would not show an email I got to the public like this, but yeah, I'm pretty sure
I got that too. I got that too. You know, it was great.
Let me take that down. So basically, here it is. They recently announced that they acquired Warner Brothers, including its film, television studios, HBO Max, and HBO. So you're going to see Harry Potter, Friends, The Big Bang Theory, Casablanca. Never saw that movie, by the way. Sorry, SynHavok. Game of Thrones, and DC Universe, together with Stranger Things, Wednesday, Squid Game, Bridgerton, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Right here, guys. And again, shout out to Sky and Leon. They started this movement back when it was just an idea to license ZSJL 2 and 3 onto Netflix while Gunny Poo gets to do what he wants. But now it's moved beyond that. Netflix, again, assuming that things go right from here on out, because there is some stuff we do have to talk about, will own the Snyderverse flat out, along with the rest of DC and the rest of Warner Brothers. And I think this is a great thing. And it is absolutely the Christmas miracle that we needed. And yes, W. Mir, I have not seen Casablanca. Is that movie that says maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sooner for the rest of your life? Is that Casablanca?
It's it's the black and white one with Humphrey Bogart. Yeah, it's really a great movie.
And what up, Austin? Thanks for stopping by. And I think this is just really great. This is a really great because here's the thing. No matter what ends up happening, because, you know, we do discuss all possibilities on this channel, the fact of the matter is Netflix showed interest. This whole thing about Netflix wasn't interested, that narrative is squashed no matter what. And the thing is, I'm excited for more than just the Snyderverse. Because the thing is, after the Snyderverse, I want DC to still be a good brand. I don't want just the Snyderverse and then just say, okay, goodbye DC. I want the entire DC brand to be good after this. So I think this is great. Christmas time was such a great time for this to happen. And I also want to get why I think this. So I'm saying mergerless acquisition because I'm talking about basically regime changes. Because I know SynHavok will kill me if I mix up the two. But I think here's why I think the Netflix one will work while AT&T and Discovery didn't. AT&T, in my opinion, didn't really want to do anything. They wanted to buy Warner Brothers, hire people to run what was going to be Warner Media, and then just collect profit. They didn't want to really do anything. Like, yeah, they stepped in with the Snyder cuts, but they didn't want to have to constantly step in and keep saying, no, Ann Sarnoff, you can't post an article saying that the SnyderVerse is a cultist act. No, Ann Sarnoff, you can't insult the fandom.
They didn't want to be micromanagers. That's the reason why they didn't want to deal with it anymore. Because to them, the Snyder cut was a no-brainer. They're like, no, you're just going to release that. But again, you don't want to keep micromanaging your team. You don't want to keep doing that. And I can totally understand AT&T being fed up. It just, at that point, why bother?
Exactly, Zod. And the thing is like, too, they just weren't experienced with running this kind of company because they're a cell phone and internet company at the end of the day. They're not this big movie studio company. So that was never going to, in hindsight, I can see why it didn't work. Because if you don't hire the right people on the first try, you don't want to keep going back. So well, isn't Dawn of the Dead owned by Universal though? But anyways, but other than that, yeah, you're right, Austin. Absolutely. And then I want to get into why Discovery didn't work. The problem with Discovery, and Mikey Sutton even said this, Zaslav didn't have long-term plans with the company. His whole plan from when he bought it was to sell it, was to flip it and to sell it. And the problem with that is he's not going to put any long-term investment in it. I think that's a big reason why Gunny Poo got the job as DC co-head. No one else wanted it because they all knew what Zaslav's plan was. They didn't want to do a plan where they knew they were only going to have like 4 years for it. No one. And again, Zaslav's not going to do too much investing into it. He's going to do a lot of short-term investing into it. He's not going to do long-term investing. And again, he's not a big movie guy. He runs cable channels. Netflix, on the other hand, they have movies and TV shows on their platform. They are getting into theaters already, right now. And they want to buy Warner Brothers to actually invest with it, to keep it. So that's why I think the Netflix one will work while the other two didn't. So anything else you want to say to that, Zod, before we move on?
No.
Okay. Well, I want to say this too, because I think this is really important. Mikey Sutton believed in Cell. Mikey Sutton believed in the Cell movement. And I know he would, even with what happened right now, I know he'd be really happy to see how far we've gotten.
Yeah,
I know he would
be
thrilled. And wouldn't feel right to not acknowledge Mikey at this post with this, because he would, even with some of these other possibilities out here, at the end of the day, Netflix showed interest. So just want to give a moment of silence for Mikey Sutton real quick. We miss you, Mikey. Thank you for believing in us, because I don't think we would have made it this far without you. And, it's funny, Zod, because when Cell was first an idea, I remember Mikey Sutton said, yeah, well, with this licensing thing, it would be a license for that specific project. You wouldn't see Henry Cavill's Superman in Stranger Things. The funny thing is, because of how this evolved so much, you actually could technically do that now.
Yeah. Well, Mikey was right. Mikey was always talking in terms of the information he had, and we know that Mikey was a time traveler too, because he had a lot of information from the future and things that are still coming true to this day. So Mikey, it's incredible. What a wonderful person, for real.
Absolutely. And he would be so proud right now. And thank you, Mikey Sutton. Thank you. Oh, hold on a second. You're right, SynHavok. You're right. And absolutely. And we will celebrate. Just got a little emotional talking about him. But yes. Let's park up now. Because SynHavok's right. It's what Mikey Sutton would want right now. Especially because we do have to talk about this right now, guys. So, understand. I'm rooting for Netflix, guys. I am rooting for Netflix 100%. Zod, I think it's fair to say, would that be the same for you?
I think that this Paramount stuff is all just a bunch of like posturing, and it's Paramount trying to oh, you ruined my plans, like the evil villain, like you ruined my plans and now I'm going to get you. That's kind of how I see this. I don't really take this seriously because at this point it's like, Netflix won. Okay. So the fact that we have to go back and we have to entertain this because of that Allison guy, we have to go back and we have to listen to this and we have to see these kind of articles written day in and day out. I mean, the president himself even came out and said, and then when I say president, I mean president of the United States, he came out and he actually said, he thinks that the merger between Netflix and Warner Brothers would be a good thing. He's not going to stand in the way of Netflix. So to me, when I see all this Paramount stuff, I just say y'all going at the Paramount stuff. You're all hypocrites because everybody that is complaining about the Netflix thing talks about how, Netflix is going to ruin theaters and all this other stuff because they don't do their research and they don't pay attention to the fact that Netflix themselves came out and said that they're not going to mess with the theatrical experience, that it's still going to be a big part of what they do going forward. They've said that themselves. So for me, I don't really understand why people are so all up in Paramount. And then the funny thing is, you've got people that want Paramount to succeed in their hostile takeover. But the problem is, okay, they don't like Saudi Arabia, but the Saudis are where Paramount would be getting that additional money to be able to do the hostile takeover. So if you don't like Saudi Arabia, then how are you cheering for Paramount? I don't think these people quite understand what they're even doing. I don't think they understand how business works. I don't think they don't understand that Netflix won because Netflix was the high bidder. There was no shenanigans going on. Netflix just offered more money. That's how it works. It's not that complicated. They make it more complicated than it has to be. And for me, I can't see. I look at like Paramount, like the evil, like the Grinch who stole Christmas. He's literally climbing into the Netflix chimney and literally stealing trying to steal the. It's like, dude, Ellison, get over it. Find another company, dude. Find another company.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. We don't have time for this. So as far as I'm concerned, Bat Dan, I am completely done with this like argument as far as Paramount, I'm not even entertaining the idea of Paramount being able to succeed because I don't think that they're going to, and I honestly don't see how that works. You upset me. You weren't fair. You weren't fair, Warner Brothers, when you were favoring Netflix. They weren't favoring anybody. They went with Netflix because Netflix offered the most money. It's that simple. I'm so done with these people. And now everybody's like, well, you know what? We don't want the SnyderVerse to come back, and we hate Snyder fans so much that we want Warner Brothers to be bought by Paramount and a foreign entity. That's what we want. not because it's what's best for cinema, but we want it because we hate Zack Snyder and we hate his fans. Is that not like the most petty reason to support something like this? I mean, because let's be honest, this is bigger than just Zack Snyder. This is bigger than just this is a huge, development in cinematic history right now. What's happening? I'm sorry, Bad Dad. I just can't. Like I said, I just can't entertain this whole Paramount thing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it because I thought about it. I'm like, you go back and you think about, because back then when we first had our conversation, I was willing to entertain the idea because we didn't really know. They were kind of like neck and neck. They both had their offers, and anything could have happened. But at this point, I feel like it's just a scare tactic. They're just trying to mess with people again. They know in the end that Netflix is going to come out on top. You don't think Netflix has something planned? You don't think Netflix has a defense against this kind of thing? Where do people think? Who do people think Netflix is? Netflix offered the most money, and you don't think that Netflix has something that they could do to like counteract this? You really think they couldn't?
Well, it's funny. I'm really glad you said that, Zod, because Ted Sarandos, CEO of Netflix or co-CEO of Netflix, even says right here, Paramount's house no bid for WBD was entirely expected. And despite that, he is still confident about closing the deal.
Exactly.
Super confident. And here is the thing. We have a done deal, and we are incredibly happy with the deal. It's great for shareholders, great for consumers. We think it's a great way to create and protect jobs in the entertainment industry. We're super confident we're going to get it across the line, so we're set.
Right. Like you said, they said it's expected. So for me, and that's the other thing. There's a place for Paramount in all this, okay? Because maybe Paramount can acquire the parts of Warner Brothers that Netflix doesn't really want or Netflix doesn't really need, like the cable network aspect and the Discovery Global aspect and all that. Maybe they'll work out some kind of a deal with Allison. They'll say, okay, listen, crybaby, this is what we're going to do for you. Okay. Since you cried and blew your nose in a letter to President Trump, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to give you the opportunity to obtain this part of the business that we don't need, that we're not going to use. Okay. And therefore you still get something in the deal, because let's be honest, I think the only thing Allison really wants is the media aspect of it anyway. I think to him, it's all about politics and, all that, and that Warner Brothers Discovery and CNN and all that other BS, right? Don't they own CNN?
Yes. I mean, Discovery Global.
And so for me, that just means that, okay, fine. Netflix doesn't need any of that crap. Netflix could be like, okay, we just want the movie aspect of it. We just want the TV aspect of it. You can have all the other parts. Yeah, see that, SynHavok? Because Paramount is just like, we've got to have something. We've got to be even bigger than we are. It's like these companies are so greedy. It's like never enough. It's like I feel like Netflix will be happy. They've got Warner Brothers. They don't need anything else. They're huge now. Okay? And so Paramount, it's like, oh, well, we could do that. So yeah, just throw Allison a couple of bones so that he'll go away, because we don't need any more of his whining and crying and complaining. Just go away, okay? Like I said, when you literally have the president of the United States weighing in, and he actually comes out and says he doesn't see any problem with the Netflix and Warner Brothers, connection. I think we're good. I think we're going to be fine, guys. Like it is what it is, but I think we're going to be fine.
I'm really glad you said all that, Zach, because I'm in complete agreement with you. Is because it just, to me, at the end of the day, at this point, to me, this is just Paramount's ego at this point. To me, all this comes off as David Ellison just doesn't want to lose. I'm to the point, in my opinion, I don't really think he even cares about Warner Brothers anymore. I really think he just doesn't want to admit that he lost. And that's what this is coming off at this point.
He's throwing a temper tantrum like a little toddler. He's crying because you took away his ability to get more chocolate candy, and now he's upset. That's what's going on. For these types of people, that's what it is. It's like they treat these companies like candy bars. They it's not. It's so sad, dude. Like, you look at that and you're like, how rich do you need to be? How powerful do you want to be? I mean, when's it gonna be enough? That's part of the problem with the world. That the rich just keep getting richer and everybody else just keeps getting nothing but table scraps. And the table scraps are getting smaller. So the reality is at this point you have to kind of look at it and you kind of have to say, listen, dude, listen, you spoiled crybaby. We're good. We're happy with the way things are. Paramount's gonna be fine without WB. And Netflix is going to be fine with WB. And like I said, Batman, I was completely fine with the conversation prior to this happening because it could have went either way. They were trading blows, both companies. But there's a reason why Netflix came out on top, and that reason is money. So we're going to let that sit. Me personally, I'm going to let that sit.
And, I want to read David Ellison's letter because it's so amusing to me. So, Paramount makes 6 offers to buy WBD, which that should say something alone.
Good
30
Lord.
in cash. But just remember, people, he's trying to buy all of Warner Brothers for $30 in cash, not just. So the value is actually less than WBD, but all were rejected and they agreed to sell the studio and streaming business to Netflix. Paramount, of course, called foul, and that meaning to Paramount will buy their shares. This is what, here's the part I want to read. This is what, they're saying. And this is what I love. It's all in bold letters. It is not too late to realize the benefits of Paramount's proposal. If you choose to act now and tender your shares, read the letter in all caps. Paramount has airtight financing to deliver on its offer. And the company will work collaboratively with relevant authorities, e.e. regulators, on the review process, and deliver this transaction to you and our stakeholders. It said, WB's transaction to Netflix, on the other hand, appear to be in for a long, bumpy ride as it navigates the global regulatory review, given its dominance in streaming. Okay, you know what? No. I have to say something right here, Zod, because here's my big issue with this. This is what people are overlooking. Theaters. Paramount has a movie studio in their business. Warner Brothers has a movie studio in their business. You put them under one umbrella, it's one movie studio now, like with Disney and Fox, or 20th Century, since they removed Fox from the branding names. And it's funny, you're talking about the streaming service. What about the theatrical business? People don't seem to realize 2 theatrical studios merging is way worse for theaters than a studio that doesn't have a big theatrical the company that doesn't have a big theatrical studio. That's
right.
Worse. And
this gives Netflix a theatrical presence, a major theatrical presence.
Yes, exactly. And here's the thing. If Paramount really had this compelling offer, they wouldn't be rejected all this many times. It's like the girl that you're it's like a girl has to tell you no over and over again after you had one date. Not even a date, honestly, at this point, but it's like telling you, it's like trying to still pursue her after that. And it's like, no matter how many times Zazoff needs to say, hey, Paramount, we're just not that into you. It's just pathetic to me, honestly. And people, they're trying to talk about like regulatory reviews. Again, you guys are merging 2 studios. There's so many different streaming services out there. YouTube, for one, is a streaming service, mind you. You have Disney Plus, you have Paramount, you have Peacock, you have Tubi, you have Amazon. I'm saying Amazon because I think there's like MGM and Prime Video. You have Apple TV. And again, I'm not counting Hulu because that's under Disney. You have so many different streaming services out there already, in addition to Netflix and HBO Max. And I'll do you one, in addition to buying Discovery Global, which is I think what's going to happen. I think eventually, I know Netflix is saying they're going to keep HBO Max now, but I think eventually they're going to merge their streaming services and they'll have an interface that they won't need anymore, a superior interface to what Paramount has, because I'm going to rant about this. Paramount Plus, your interface sucks. I am tired of watching South Park and having it crash on me constantly. I'm sick of it. Get a bet. Buy the service, buy the superior interface to HBO Max so that you can have a better service. So I know you want to say
SynHavok's comment. There you go.
Oh, that's interesting. And that's the thing. HBO Max can be a selection on Netflix. That's what I'm saying. When I say that Netflix should sell HBO Max to Paramount, I'm not saying the HBO Max brand name. I'm not saying the HBO Max content. I'm literally saying the interface. Like, plug your name, plug the name, plug the content, give them the interface. Paramount can rename that to Paramount Plus, and then they can put all their content there, and I can actually watch stuff without it crashing on me constantly. So, and, I'm not gonna lie. At first, there's two versions of me when I read something. There's the part of me that reads something that reacts initially, and there's the me that like really thinks about it and is like, yeah. So, and I'm gonna address I'm gonna address your comment, Rebel Moon Theory, but basically, once I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, Paramount was rejected so many times already. If they had this compelling offer, they would have been accepted before Netflix even won the bid. At the end of the day, David Ellison, as I'm going to credit Mama Bear for calling him Veruca Salt, or I forgot her name, but Veruca from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. How he's like, I want my golden ticket. That's who David Ellison is right now.
Right. 100%.
And Alan Belk, I agree with you. HBO Max used to be a lot better before they, used to be the great home of Warner Brothers content before they removed all Warner Brothers content from the streaming service.
See, and that's all going to change under Netflix, because on Netflix you're going to have access to all that. I have a feeling Netflix is going to put all that content out. It's going to be one of the best, one of the best streaming platforms of all time once this all goes through.
100%, Zod, 100%. So, at the end of the day, I don't, this is just a nothing burger. The only thing that irritates me about this, it's going to slow down the process of getting this approved. That's the only thing that irritates me about
I don't even really think it's going to slow it down all that much, because to be honest with you, I mean, what can they really do? I mean, at the end of the day, it's...
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, and besides, I think, Ted Sarandon said that he met with Trump already. They talked about it, and he worked it out with the president.
See, he's a smart man. He's a smart man for going to the president and talking to the president, because that's what you have to do. If you want to get your point, because maybe the president isn't seeing the whole big picture, because he has people that he listens to, that he gets, he bases his opinions off of things like that, right? Maybe he doesn't know all the details. So the Netflix guy going directly to the president was probably the best thing he could have did. Go to the president, explain what's going on, explain your plans, get the president on board with what you want to do, understand, to try and make it so that this litigation process is as painless as possible. He did it right. And like you said in the article that you read, the Paramount thing, the hostile takeover, was completely expected. So, yeah.
I mean, in worst case scenario, if let's say Paramount does make some compelling offer, it's not like Netflix can't offer more money. So just keep that in mind too, guys.
And that's the part that I don't understand. You think if Netflix was willing to put out all of that, you don't think Netflix would spend a little more just to get it over the top if they had to? I don't think they're going to have to, though. I think they're good where they are. But, I mean, it's Yeah, I think it's a done deal, Bat Dan. I'm not worried at all.
And I want to just address what Rebel Moon Theory's comment here. So basically, the way the split works is kind of like when Disney bought Fox. They like own the production companies like Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. They owned those shows that you see on Fox, but they didn't buy the channel itself. So that's kind of what's going to happen with this split, with Warner Brothers buying the studio and streaming assets. They'll own the shows you see from Cartoon Networks and Adult Swim, but they won't own the actual cable channel. They won't own the actual network because those are actually different companies a lot of times that own the show versus the channel it appears on. Like Big Bang Theory is owned by Warner Brothers, even though you see it on CBS. CBS was just the channel that aired it, but it was a Warner Brothers produced show. So it's kind of like that. So Warner Brothers will own all the shows on Cartoon Network, like Ed, Edd and Eddy, Kids Next Door, Powerpuff Girls. Warner Brothers will own that, but Cartoon Network itself, they will not own. Rick and Morty, they will own. But Adult Swim, the channel, it will not own. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. So that's what it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think we've beaten this to death. Paramount ain't getting this, guys. It's just smoke and mirrors. And actually, Zod, I think in some ways Paramount did Netflix a favor because I think they helped Netflix a lot with public opinion. Because I've seen this. I've seen a lot of people who were so against Netflix the instant that they were buying Warner Brothers. But what's funny is that when Paramount put their hat in the ring for this hostile takeover, it's a very similar situation to people who hated Zack Snyder before they saw Gunny Poo's Superman movie. Once they saw Paramount getting in, all these people were like, oh, shit, Netflix wasn't so bad after all. This is way better than Paramount. This isn't so bad. I think Paramount
right. It's public perception, and then the fact that Netflix was smart enough to go directly to the president. They knew exactly what they were doing. Like, to me, I feel like, they wanted to win. They won it fairly. They did everything they were supposed to do. They crossed their T's and dotted their I's. I just don't see any way. I just don't see any way that Paramount can pull this out. I really don't. I think they are in over their head, and now maybe Ellison will set his sights on Comcast next.
I still think he should just buy Discovery Global, and if he wants to try to pull this off as a win and just say, hey, this is really what we wanted all along, and blah 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 blah. But I want to clarify my comment to Vega. Yes, the company that's called Fox is not owned by Disney, but Disney bought a part of Fox, like 20th Century Fox and the production companies. But Disney took Fox out of the branding name to separate it from Fox News and the Fox Channel and all that stuff. So I'm not saying Disney owns Fox, but they owned assets that belonged to Fox at one point. And some of the production companies are the Fox production company. Again, it's all renamed now to Disney doesn't have Fox in their name at all now. But that's just to clarify, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, SynHavok, or Sox, they didn't buy Fox News. But basically, and what up, Bishop? Thanks for stopping by, Bishop. And I hope you had a great birthday. I know Zod gave you a phenomenal birthday stream. So, hope you had a great day, man. But, other than Paramount, in my opinion, I don't see any way that this doesn't go through. Because, if we're being honest here, the Disney 20th Century, and I'm going to say 20th Century because that's what they renamed it to, I know. But, that merger was a way bigger deal than this merger right here. Because people forget, when Disney bought that, Disney had their streaming service they were setting up, but they also bought their controlling stake in Hulu, because Hulu, when it came out, 30% was owned by Disney, 30% was owned by 20th Century Fox, 30% was owned by Comcast, and 10% was owned by Warner Brothers. So when Disney bought 20th Century Fox, they bought that extra 30% of Hulu. So in addition to two studios merging, you now have a streaming service that was also merged too. Netflix doesn't have that. So with theaters. So, like I said, I think Paramount, if anything, I mean, when I said slow to, I'm kind of contradicting what I said earlier, but really, I think Paramount made it easier for Netflix inadvertently just by showing the public opinion, like making people realize this is not a monopoly. Paramount's a monopoly. So, thank you, Paramount, actually. I really want to thank you because people were trying to say this is a monopoly. It's not. Netflix and Warner Brothers have the only major overlap they have is Netflix and HBO Max. But HBO Max is such a small part of Warner Brothers' business. I mean, this is not the monopoly you think it is. And especially Ted Sarandos sat down with Trump. And what up, Mama Bear? So, no, I don't think there's any other factors that will stop this from going through. So I think this is
either. Yeah.
So yeah. I think this is great news. So now
What's up? What's up, Bishop? Good to see you, man.
So now I want to talk about this. What does this mean for Gunny Poo? Because I heard he got an extension. So Gunny Poo must be staying, right?
Boring. Gunny Poo, you're boring.
But basically what happened with him is that he got a 6-month extension.
Oh wow, that's monumental, right?
You know why he got that extension? Because this, it's going to take a lot of time for this regulatory process to pass. Because you still have to take time to go through it. It's not like Netflix buys Warner Brothers and the next day Netflix owns Warner Brothers. It still has to go through all the regulations. Different countries have to approve it. It's a big thing. So
it's global.
Yes, Netflix is a global company. And hold on a second.
Yeah, that's a good point, SynHavok, that Zaslav gave Gunn the extension before the deal got finalized. Great point. Great point.
Sorry about that, but yeah, but basically with the reason why he got the extension too, because again, it's before it got finalized, but also Netflix is going to hire their own people. So Zaslav needs to have someone in charge in the meantime. So it's easier to just give him and Sean Gunn an extension than it is to hire someone else. So, and plus, they're going to wait for Man of Tomorrow to come out. They're going to let these projects that are happening come out, unfortunately. So, no, this is not good news for Gunny Poo, guys. So,
no, Gunn knows that his days are numbered. He knows that. He knows he's James gone. He knows it's over. He knows he's just biding his time and hopes he gets his last couple of trash movies out before Netflix fully takes over. That's his best hope.
And people need to remember when a company is taking over, they're not going to announce, "Oh yeah, we're firing all these people on the spot." You got to pay attention to actions, not words. Because I say this because what does this mean for Zack Snyder? Well, as you notice, as I point out earlier, he's doing all these DC posts still. After this acquisition, he's doing all these posts still. You think he'd be doing that if he wasn't going to be on?
Exactly. See, we learned from Release the Snyder Cut that he was, how Zack operates. We learned. And so we know there's always a double meaning behind Zack Snyder's posts. We've known this for the longest time. It's not a mystery anymore.
Yeah, 100%, Zod. 100%. Zack Snyder is going to be back. He's going to finish his arc, and I think we're going to get a lot more than what we initially asked for, because when Because with the initial movement for Cell, ZSJL 2 and 3, that was the main ask. Yeah, we wanted this stuff, but we were hoping to get a licensing deal for these 2 movies. But now, Netflix doesn't have to license anything. They don't have to get approval for which characters they can and can't use. Netflix owns the whole shebang. So Zack can truly tell the story he wants to tell. And they can invest in it as much as they want. And okay. SynHavok, thank you, Zod. So we're just going to Oh, that's what you meant by Dawn of the Dead, Austin. Okay, sorry. Interesting. Another Zack Snyder movie, but sorry, guys, we have to go back real quick to this topic because SynHavok sent something to Zod. And I have no idea what this article says, guys. This article was sent to me just now, during the stream. So, Paramount's Middle East financing doomed Warner Brothers Discovery bid. Really? So Paramount's reliance on Gulf's sovereign money was a major reason why the company's bid for Warner Brothers Discovery failed to win an auction for the owner of major media brands like HBO and DC Comics. And then Saudi, and sorry guys, I'm bad at pronouncing. Qatari sovereign wealth funds fronted $24 billion as part of both Paramount's initial offer and its $108 billion topping bid for all of WBD, led by the wealthy Ellison family. The money accounted for 30% of the equity value of the deal, whose figure was inflated by WBD's debt load. But the guarantee on that money, specifically on when the dollars would clear, according to the people familiar with the matter, were fuzzy enough to give Warner Brothers board one more reason to go with Netflix's $80 billion offer, according to security filings and people briefed on the boardroom discussion. And so...
yeah, there you go. It sums it up. It tells you exactly why these nutcases that are cheering for Paramount don't know what they're talking about, because that tells you exactly why it was rejected.
Exactly, because it's not just about the money. It's the trust in getting the money. I mean, what are you going to go with? A company that, if you are going to get money, you're getting this deal. You can get $1 million and you're 100% sure you're going to get that $1 million. Or you can get $1,300,000, but there's like a 50-50 chance you're going to get it, maybe even less. Who are you going to go with?
Yeah, you're going to go with that guaranteed deal from Netflix because that deal with Netflix is cash. And cash is king, period.
Yes. So thank you, SynHavok. Thank you. But as this means for Zack Snyder, I think that this is the best news for Zack Snyder because now it's no longer just ZSJL 2 and 3. Zack can tell his whole universe. We can get the Batflick movie. We can get Man of Tomorrow. Sorry. I'm used to Henry Cavill's second solo movie being called Man of Tomorrow. Force of Habit. Sorry. We can get Henry Cavill's second solo Superman movie. We can get a lot more now. Whatever Zack Snyder is able and willing to do, we can get. At this point, the limit will be what Zack Snyder decides he wants to do. So
exactly. In Zack we trust.
In Zack we trust. And what to do going forward. So, and this is my opinion. I still think we still need to limit our engagement with Warner Brothers because, yes, I'm confident this is going to go through. I'm not worried about that. But just out of principle, I don't feel comfortable giving Warner Brothers any more engagement until they are officially in Netflix under Netflix's umbrella. Netflix doesn't own Warner Brothers now. They will own Warner Brothers, but as of this day, December 10th, 2026, they do not. So I think it's important to still give our engagement to Netflix and not our engagement to Warner Brothers. Once Netflix actually owns the company, makes the changes, then we can give Warner Brothers engagement because that's engagement towards Netflix. But as of right now, let's not give Warner Brothers the engagement. So Anything else you want to say to that, Zod?
No.
Exactly. You know, I'm glad you said that, SynHavok, because we still need to, I still think we need to, it's good to do like hashtags still to show our engagement for the Snyderverse. But it doesn't make any sense to do sell ZSJL to Netflix or sell SnyderVerse to Netflix anymore. Why? Netflix already bought that. That's like saying release the Snyder Cut after we got the Snyder Cut. Doesn't make sense. So, me personally, Zod can do what he wants. You all can do what you want. At this point, to me, it doesn't really matter because we're going to win, guys. We're going to win, but it's still a good idea to show engagement, to not take your foot off the gas pedal until we reach the destination, until we were seeing ZSJL2 in theaters or on our TV, wherever. I think it'll be theaters first, but wherever. So I'm going to go with what Skywalker has said. ZSJL on Netflix, SnyderVerse on Netflix. Simple, easy, done. Just showing our engagement for the Snyderverse and showing engagement to Netflix.
Fair enough.
And Zod, I made the V. I did a capital V because I agree. I think that looks better.
Yeah, I do. I think it's just, yeah, exactly.
And
that's why I mentioned that to Sky. I'm like, that capital V, man. I gotta have it because it stands out.
And I think he's been doing that now. So
yeah.
Wait, they have a new hashtag, Mama Bear? Okay. Well. Oh, those are the
Those are the hashtags. Those are them.
Okay. But I just want to say again, Netflix is beautiful at Christmas. You know, 3 years ago, we spent Christmas. I mean, I'm not going to say that I ruined my entire Christmas, but Christmas, it was definitely when I was doing, because I did my Christmas shopping, a lot of my Christmas shopping 3 years ago, the day after we got that news about Henry Cavill no longer being Superman. So it'll be nice that when I do some Christmas shopping this year, when I'm at the mall this year, it's the exact opposite feeling. Netflix is beautiful at Christmas. Now more than ever. You know, Mikey Sutton said Superman is beautiful at Christmas for the planned Superman 2 movie. But, okay. Yeah, thank you, Mama Bear. But now, this year for Christmas, Netflix is beautiful. So, anything else you want to say to that, Zod?
No, I agree. We're on the same page here, Bat Dan.
And speaking of that, I decided for my remaining Crime at Christmas Time videos, I want to give Netflix some engagement. So what I'm going to do is I have 2 watch parties planned on Netflix for Christmas time. And ZodWriter will be joining me for one of them, and the Curly Ray will be joining me for the other. So be on the lookout for that. These are both Christmas movies that are on Netflix. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah. And I will also be doing something for the Rebel Moon Trending Day coming up too. So thank you, the Curly Ray, because that's also really important for Netflix engagement. So be on the lookout for that. 12/22, Rebel Moon, and happy birthday, Rebel Moon. And then ZodWriter, anything coming up you want to advertise?
Not really. Just be on the lookout for hey man, I'm gonna be running screenings for One Punch Man for those that are interested in seeing it early. Otherwise, it comes out March 14th. So and actually, so be on the lookout for that, guys. And then for me, when I do the watch party, I'm also going to, because I always do a pre-talk beforehand. So we'll talk about some of the stuff that gets about this whole acquisition that's going to get updated, because this is a fluid situation. We're going to hear new news every day. So be on the lookout for that. And guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, Zod? Pow pow. Have a bat-tastic day.